kick right in front of the goal, and it's in.
Back in, cuts to his forward, take the shot, he scores!
Good evening and welcome to Printscape Arena at South Point. I'm Matt Geica. Brian Mitchell is riding shotgun, and this is PIHL Class AAA Hockey, Peters Township, hosting Pine-Richland, the first matchup between these two schools in 4 years as Pine-Richland and the Rams, fresh off a AA Penguins Cup and State Cup championship. They move up to Class AAA once again. The team you see down to your right on the screen, wearing the green and the black, is Pine-Richland. To your left, in the white and the red, is Peters Township. It's been an up and down first half of the regular season for the PT Indians, a 3-0 start to the year, then 3 consecutive losses, but the Tribe now 2-1 in their past 3, including an emotional Miners Cup victory over Cannon Mac last Tuesday in fact, right here, coming from behind, trailing early 1-0. Well, the Peters Township Indians ended up pouring on 4 goals and winning it 4-1 against the Big Macs. As for Pine-Richland, kind of a so-so start to their year, but now 3 wins in a row despite playing a league-low 6 games to this point. They're 4-1-1 are the Rams, just 1 regulation loss. So, Brian, starting with Pine-Richland, a team you followed very closely last year all the way to the state title, this is a pretty impressive effort getting back to AAA because of how many seniors they graduated.
You know what? It's all the way to the state title and beyond. I followed them in the national tournament, and I watched them. Their only regulation loss on the season was in that national tournament, and that was how they ended it. But, you know, this Pine-Richland team, I noted in the standings, like you said, you made the note that they played a league low. They were involved. They had an off couple weeks start the season, and then they had their postponement game against a Cathedral Prep, so they weren't able to get in the action. I believe they had 28 days off between games in the first month. They played opening night and then not again until the 29th of October or so. So they had a really big layoff, but they've caught up, and let's put it this way. They played very well in AAA in their debut, and that is all, you can put a lot of it on the play of goaltender Daniel Stauffer. He has started this season strong, played every game for them, 4-1-1 with the shootout loss, of course. No shutouts on it, but a little over a 920 save percentage. And he's had to be. This is a young team. This was the JV team from last year. You only have 4 or 5 returning starters from last season. And, of course, the big one you look at is on defense. That's Joe Fulmer, number 77.
Big Fulmer on the year, 8 points. 1 off the team lead. So he's a big producer there, and you have Richard Weil with 9 points. But it's really a depth type of an approach here. You see several players with 5 points or more for Pine-Richland, and it may not sound like a lot, but they've only played 6 games, so nearly a point per game pace for 6 guys.
I saw them in the first game against Seneca Valley, and that was a back and forth. They were down, I believe, 4-2 late in the third period in that game and had 2 goals. I believe that was by Connor Salisbury. His 2 goals were able to bring him back to a tie, and then I believe they went to a shootout in the opening night. I remember because I had my byline written, and I had to rewrite it within the last 2 or 3 minutes of that game. And this team fights. This is a hard, tough, in-your-face, tough-as-nails team to play against. You're going to see that out there. They fly, they hit, but they can also shoot, and it's a skilled team. And after the way that they're, you know, they graduated a bunch of players, they're not left off from last season.
On the Peters Township side for Coach Rick Tingle, we've seen in goal some consistency lately. Alex Wilbert, the senior, coming back from injury. He's played 3 in a row, and he's collected 2 wins in those 3 appearances, a .908 save percentage. And one start ago, last week against Cannon Mac, 24 saves in the Miners Cup win. For Peters Township, coming on now lately at 5-4, tied for 4th is Cannon Mac, just leveled with them in the standings. But it looks like we are not going to see Wilbert in net. It's a young man wearing number 43. It is, okay, it is Alex Wilbert. He must be wearing a different number. Anyway, we'll go to the national anthem. We'll sort that out on the back side of this. Well, we have it sorted out. Alex Wilbert's jersey has 43 on the arms and 34 on the back. I've never seen this in my life, but at any rate, we'll go with that. It is Wilbert, the senior, with a .908 save percentage and a 3.00. Goals against in goal, and at the other end of the ice, down to our right, Daniel Stauffer, of course, his 7th start in 7 games for the Rams, coached by Jordan Yaklik. I mentioned Rick Tingle behind the bench once again for PT. PT trying to make it 3 wins out of 4, and Pine-Richland looking for its 4th consecutive victory. And you mentioned no shutouts for Pine-Richland yet, Mitch, but they still have the best defense and the best penalty kill in Class AAA. The PK's at 92% and goals allowed 1.8 per game. They go up against the 4th-ranked offense out of 11 teams in Peters Township. Scramble draw, and we're playing hockey in South Point. The nightcap of our Berg Hockey Live doubleheader. We just saw Cannon Mac defeat Erie Cathedral Prep here to move into a 4th-place tie in the standings with their rivals in Peters Township. Here are the Rams. Wild gives it back to the point. A deflected shot from Captain Joseph Fulmer ends up in the corner. Put toward the middle, and now Drew Wilbert. He'll toss it off the glass, and Anthony Foltz flags it down, but gave it right back to the Rams. Again, the Rams in green and black, and the Indians in white and red, and we have a cross-checking bout that ends after a couple of blows there between Richard Wild and Drew Wilbert. 2 men wearing the A's on their jerseys. Nothing much after that.
Both teams coming out hitting hard like I expected. Peters Township's in for a treat if they're thinking they're going to play a skilled game here. Pine-Richland's probably just going to come at them the way they normally would.
PT's getting its offense going, 4 goals in 3 in a row. There's our first save as senior defender Seth Hanna pumped one on net from 55 feet, and it was booted out by Stauffer. On the carry back is Charles Mill. Mill shooting, and that's off the blocker of Wilbert and over the crossbar. Mill, I like 5 goals in 5 games for the junior forward. Another puck out of play. A halting start to this one, 16:02 to go in a scoreless first period.
After a rough couple games of in and out of the lineups, looks like John Camp's getting a good look from Rick Tingle. He's didn't line up once again here tonight.
Speaking of point per game, he's on that pace. 5 in 5, including 4 of those goals. Third on the squad in goals despite playing in just 5 out of the 9 so far. And here is Camp breaking ahead, and he's tripped. It'll be a delayed penalty. Camp moves in and put it right over the top of the bar. On it now, Ryder Mertens, the freshman forward. Mertens wearing number 21, bangs it off the boards, out to the point. Hanna gives to Barrett. Barrett takes this one off the side wall, handed it further to McElhaney, and another puck ends up in the stands. Kind of a sparse crowd here for the 9 o'clock start, so no one's going to latch onto that one, but the Indians will go to the power play very early on in this one, just a minute and 19 seconds after the opening puck drop. Esai Morse, sophomore defender, is gone for tripping.
Looks like the largest conglomerate of people in the crowd are the Peters Township taxi squad to my left. A lot of red in the 3rd row behind the bench.
That's one thing I've always appreciated about this Peters Township program. The JVs and the folks who don't dress, they show up for these games. Doesn't always happen in high school sports. Jack Tyndall gets the clear for Pine-Richland, and Mark Lehman, the leading scorer for the Tribe, will snap it along to Hunter Ferguson. 3 power play assists on the year for Ferguson to lead this squad. But now it's in behind the Pine-Richland net, and touched first there by Tyndall. Jack Tyndall stripped to the puck by Drew Wilbert. Drew out to Mark Lehman. Lehman drags, dishes. Wilbert, top of the right circle, feeds it across, and it'll be Hunter Ferguson gathering after an early bobble. There's Drew Wilbert on the left side now. He tries to fire it across to the right. It's deflected away from Lehman, who was making a cut to the goal. And taken and cleared down by Roth as he escorted it out to center. Roth turning. Griffin Roth couldn't get it past John Camp. Camp, a couple of stick handles, and he's into the offensive zone. Eric Wilbert now picks it up. Left it behind for his brother Drew. Drew and Eric out there together on the power play, as is John Camp. Lehman works 1 point. Hunter Ferguson the other. 4 forwards and a defender. Lehman shot deflected. Save made by Stauffer. Rebound. Drew Wilbert again is denied. 2 chances for number 25, and he's stopped both times. In a clear. Joseph Fulmer took care of it there. 14:25 to go in the first. 43 seconds remaining on the early power play for the Indians. Lehman on the chase. Bumped off stride by the strapping Fulmer. To the point in McElhaney. Now hands to Eric Wilbert. drifts below the circle, off to McElhaney. Behind the back feed, Barrett shooting deflected, score! It was tipped in on the way. Was it center? Was it Eric Wilbert? One of them had their sticks in the way, and one of them had the magic touch. 14:03 to go in the first, and the Indians have the early goal.
Looks like Center.
Center is celebrating. If so, that's his second goal and second on the power play this season.
He was excited as a guy who just scored a goal.
That's what it looked like to me.
So it looked like he got that last stick on. Yeah, he skated off from our little 10-second replay here. He was the one that skated the quickest away from the net after that with the most energy. So that's all I deduced, sir. That's all I do, Peller.
So the top power play in Class AAA connects again. That's their 8th goal in 28 opportunities. Now north of 27% conversion rate on the season. Anthony Erlane bumped, and that'll be a penalty coming up against the Indians this time. Across the line, apparently interference. Oh, no, it'll be against the Rams. Was a pick set? No, it'll be against the Indians.
Oh.
Interference is the call. Might have been a hit away from the puck, in fact.
The Rams had possession there whenever they whistled it down, so.
That's why the confusion, but we do have it sorted out. Rams go to the power play for the first time, and the Rams power play is second in the league. No slouch itself, 5 for 20. Not as many opportunities, but just as efficient, or nearly as efficient, as Peters. Owen Barrett back to take it. Senior defender plays a lot of minutes, including special teams on both sides, as you just saw. He set up the goal. Barrett gets his 6th assist to lead this D-corps, but now the Rams go to work trying to tie this one up. Kalpakis back to the line. Oh, nearly overtaken there was Joseph Fulmer, but he made the play to tap it away from Camp, who would have had a shorthanded breakaway. Now Tyndall, those long arms, long legs, reaches out to get that puck into the offensive zone. Hanna plucks it off the boards and clears it beyond the Pine-Richland blue line. 13 minutes to go in the first period. PT on the board early on a goal from Bray Sennert, the junior.
I'll take away. Wilbur, come the other way.
Hand it off, and here comes Eric Wilbert in. Short-handed glove. Saved by Stauffer, and it's out of play.
Broken play just bounced off a stick. Wilbert was able to collect it, bring it in, and Stauffer, quick glove to try to keep that out of the net. Bounces it off of the netting, and we'll have a face-off to the right of Danny Stauffer.
Eric Wilbert in a bid for his 6th goal of the year. Would have been the Indians' 3rd shorty of the season. We saw both of them scored about 5 minutes apart at Butler.
Yes, we did.
A couple of months ago. Both from Mark Lehman, the senior centerman. Here's Desjardins now for Pine-Richland. Tests the blocker hand of Wilbert, and he punches it away to the corner, does the Tribe senior netminder. Desjardins has it again. Pass too firm for Mill to handle. He has to skate back into the neutral ice area to handle this one. Banked it up ahead to Lucas Enos. And his redirect ends up on Wilbert, who pins it down. Again, if you see 43 on his arm, don't be confused. That is Alex Wilbert.
You're reading my mind.
Well, there are 4 goalies who have
Yes.
played this year, so
Yes.
immediately my mind flashed to, is there a 5th?
Is there another goaltender getting an opportunity?
There
here
is
this year?
another.
Yes.
It's a quote from Star Wars. That's timely, right? Back to the line. Morris shooting, and Wilbert saw it at the last second.
It's relevant enough now. So.
Patted it away. Yeah, that's for you kids out there. That's an old Star Wars movie. Way back in the day. Morris shoving it in below the goal line. It'll be Seth Hanna. Hanna overtakes his man, and Hanna has some room, and he keeps skating. He's knocked off stride. Legal check. Play continues on. 14 seconds to go on the shorthanded situation for Peters Township. Zakin looked to swing it into the middle with one hand on the twig, but couldn't do it. However, the Tribe keeps the puck. Barrett handling as the power play expires for Pine-Richland. The Rams are 0 for 1. And PT's penalty kill, 3rd in the league, gets another success. They've only been scored on 6 times on 44 opportunities. Long range shot from the wall by Gabriel Uchak. Easily blockered away by Wilbert, and Seth Hanna's on the chase for it. A little shoulder fake, but couldn't get it away from Derek Howard and behind the net. Pine-Richland putting the forecheck on as we return to even strength play. High toss off the boards. Barrett gloves it out to center, driven right back in by Bonvenuto, who I have a different number for him, so he's wearing 84, not 85 tonight. Doing some housekeeping on the fly, Mr. Mitchell. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I got him on 84 from the league site, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Either way.
Hey, we do that. We make mistakes. We got a goaltender with 43 on.
Joseph Fulmer couldn't quite clear it. It'll be Fulmer again. Keep an eye on number 77 tonight in green. 8 total points, 5 goals, tied for the team lead.
The thing that I notice about him the most, though, is it's not his production, it's his physical presence out there. He just demands a lot of it.
Camp, speaking of a physical player, now gives to Mertens. Back to Camp, couldn't pull it around a man. Griffin Roth did the dirty work to pry it loose. Now it's Erlane. Erlane dispossessed. Ferguson sends it back into the Pine-Richland end. On the counter, it's Dominic Desjardins. The sophomore drives wide into the corner. Dished it in behind the goal. Ram was knocked on his backside. That's Desjardins. Play continues on, and a heavy drive from Tyndall way out by the line. Boy, got all of that, but he missed it about a foot over the net. Wilbert flashed his glove, but it was past him by then. Mertens, the chip play to clear. Under 10 minutes to go in the first period. 1-0 Peters Township playing Pine-Richland for the first time in 4 seasons. Two of the more successful programs this century.
Thank you for reminding me I have a scoreboard to update.
Yes, we do, and it is 1-0.
I just did all 3 things, so like forgetting it this time, you can forgive me.
Yeah, I got to hand it to you, Brian, as this is icing here against Pine-Richland. If you weren't watching the previous game, the first game of our doubleheader tonight, I couldn't make it down here early, so Brian was doing a play-by-play, I guess a little bit of color in addition to the camera work, which the third part is the most unenviable part.
Yeah. The other thing that I noticed about this game, how often do you get 2 goaltenders playing in a game that have state championships on their resume?
Very true. Very true. And 2 who stood out in those state championship runs. Alex Wilbert as a freshman in 2016. And we already talked about Stauffer's run as a junior. No other goalie has seen action for the Rams this year. Now 4-time Penn's Cup champions and 3-time state champions. Peters Township has won the Penn's Cup 6 times this century and 5 times state crown wearers. Picked out of a crowd by Tyndall, who's playing a ton of minutes. Maybe a counter chance for the Rams. Pulling up is Wild, but a change behind the play killed that manpower edge coming up ice. Jack Carnevale looked to center, and that's stolen away. Drew Wilbert on the take back. 1v3 into the offensive zone. He put it in behind Esai Morse. Then Morse blocked the centering pass. Eric Wilbert lost control of it, looked to kick it to his stick, but couldn't pull it off. Now Mill up ahead. Mill to Connor Salisbury. Gains the line, took a bump from Hanna. Then the Indians get on that puck and toss it out to center ice again. 8:09 and ticking in a quick moving first period. A few stoppages early, but not a lot since. No icing here as this will be Jake Bush, the senior defender. Bush, he's played in all 10 games now, clears it around and out. Morse gives it right back. Fulmer cuts in and fires it on the glove side, but Wilbert snaps it up. No drama there with 7:52 left in the first period.
This is about what I expected out of this game so far. A physical game, both teams giving the offensive opportunities, but also keeping each other from the good opportunities.
Yeah, nothing really. Even the goal, it was a point shot on the power play. It was deflected in. I wouldn't say it was necessarily a failure in defending.
There we go.
Debkowski up ahead for the Indians. Got a man with him. He feeds it off to Slavin. No, but he couldn't pull to the backhand. A poke check from Esai Morse prevented that.
Fulmer without a stick right now.
Fulmer, where is his stick?
It's over in the neutral zone up by the rink rat sign.
Over on the far side of the ice.
It's about 100 feet away.
Yeah, no chance of getting that, so he changes. Tyndall on the retrieval. Tyndall to Salisbury, bangs it off the wood.
Now it's in the carrying hands of the
referee.
referee.
Couldn't get it out, centered. Dished it through Morse, in deep. Zakin on the forward check. Senior forward lays the hit. Puck still free in the Pine-Richland zone. Zakin might be able to find this one as he collides with Morse. Off the wall. Wrister by Hewlin, sticked away by Stauffer. That is Nick Hewlin, the junior defenseman, getting his 6th appearance of the year and of his varsity career. Hewlin, wearing number 85, just barely kept that one in. No, he didn't. Referee Schultz says offside, and so that's the law of the land with 6:43 to go in the opening period. 1-0 Peters Township on a Bray centered goal. His 2nd of the year, 2nd on the power play. I mentioned Barrett now with 7 total points. He's the one who shot that. It's a skill to shoot a deflectable puck in that situation, and Barrett did just that. And here is Barrett now. Got plenty of experience as a junior. He'll dish this one softly off the far side wall. Here comes Camp. Run into, oh boy, that was right on the borderline by Anthony Erlane, but he did just enough to avoid the interference call because Camp had a head of steam and he couldn't get past Erlane at the center dot.
Both players kept their feet moving there.
That probably is the key,
yeah.
right? If you can keep your feet moving as a defender, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Hannah centering. Mertens looking to put it toward the net. That's where Camp was stationed, but it was blocked away. Mertens again. Good pass. Lehman. Oh, and he shoved it wide from the slot. Barrett shoots again. Oh, nearly had another one tipped home. That was Mertens on the drive-by, but he couldn't get it on target. Under 6 to go in the first period. Ripped off the wall by Tyndall, and helping it out to center, Dominic Desjardins. That's a good hockey name, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we had Trottier last week. Christian, the son of former Penguin Brian Trottier. For Cannon McMillan. Well, you had him in the previous game.
I had him in the previous game.
Here's Anthony Foltz. Foltz, good little play from Eric Wilbert to find his brother Drew. Drew picking his way into the offensive end, but poked off his stick. Uchak did the job, but it's right back in. Eric Wilbert shoots, and the whistle sounds a bit late from Cody Brightbill, but nonetheless it was offside. Eric Wilbert just a half step ahead of the play as Drew relayed it to him. And again, if you're new to the Peters Township lineup, if I say Eric and Drew, those are the Wilberts. I use the first names because they're often out there together. Here's Eric, and now back to Drew, as if on cue, flipping it toward the net. Morris blocked it down, and taken by Sam Perry. Perry, a solo mission here, put it off the boot of Ferguson, nearly led to some trouble for Peters Township, but flipped down the ice by Anthony Foltz, first-year varsity player, the junior. Perry on the backtrack with the Rams trailing 1-0. Ferguson slugs it deep. Morris will handle. A couple of soft touches on the puck, and then gracefully gives off to Fulmer. Fulmer up the wall. Uchak into the neutral zone. But again, the try break that up. They'll try the left flank now. Will the Rams. Kalpakis, wrister, blocked down by the man right in front of him, Jake Bush. But it's a centering play to Carnevale, and he nearly got it through Wilbert, but he hangs on and then scoots away from the post and all that traffic. Ferguson and Carnevale come together, hands up, and there's about 6 men involved in a scrum behind the net right now. Players finally calm down as the 2 men in stripes, Brightbill and Schultz, get into the mix with 4:20 exactly left in the first period.
Yeah, these two teams that play tough like this, you're eventually going to get a little bit of temper out there. He came in, took the shot. I think he took in a little additional shot after the whistle, and they took exception to that on the Peters Township side. So a little extra going on behind the net. Looks like nobody's going to head to the box here.
Yep, nothing on the board in terms of penalties from that conflagration. Here is Hewlin. Up the wall, Debkowski, he's flying. Gets it over the line. Debkowski had Slavin cutting to the net, much like he did last shift, but couldn't feed it through to him. Christian Biscardo pumped it behind the goal, but it's given up to the Rams and Richard Wild. Wild's flip deflected into his bench. So we'll face it off. Looks like just outside the line here.
So one thing I'm noticing this year is how much space this line's getting. They're creating a lot of opportunities, especially that was their second straight 2-on opportunity. And it's something you want to see, especially out of a line coming in next year.
McElhaney slugs it, but his shot was weakened on the way by Tyndall, who got a stick in there. That's a long reach for Tyndall. He's got to be at least 6'4" out there. Centered shooting, bidding for his second of the game, but he stubbed it to the right of the goal.
He is a big boy.
Quick breakout, but doesn't work for the Rams. Driven in again. Andrew Poon handles it this time for Peters Township. Given away behind the net. Center will center it. I say that 5 times fast, but it's right in the arms of the waiting Ram, Anthony Erlane.
Yeah, I was just looking at that replay. There really wasn't anybody there. They had a player trying to cross the line, but nobody was able to get to that.
Give to the slot. Back out to the point now on the deflected play. Fulmer's wrister tipped in behind the goal. To this near side. Indians can't clear. Morris held it. Flipped a rolling puck toward goal, but he missed. Salisbury jams it down the wall. Mill looked a deep pass to man, but he couldn't do it. Now Hewlin will take and bank it off the boards. Down it goes for an icing call. Just under 3 minutes left in the first. Pine-Richland started its year 3-1 in the Icebreaker tournament, lost to Bethel Park in the final. And wins over Mars and Baldwin and Central Catholic, one of their AAA opponents this year. In fact, Pine-Richland just took care of Central Catholic 6-1.
They were looking for the three-peat this year and weren't able to pull it off. Really excited for the possibility of going into AAA as another St. Margaret tournament champion, but weren't able to do it this year.
Battle for the puck. Alex Erlane was on his back but spun it behind the goal. Indians clear. Mertens couldn't carry it past Fulmer, but Fulmer gave it right over to the Indians, and that'll be Seth Hanna. Hanna back to the blue line. Two teams play catch, now given away once more. Camp was staked out in the neutralized area to take this puck. He tries to drag it toward the middle. Lehman couldn't take it, but a high stick will be called here. And a delayed call. Looks like it's against the Rams, and they'll put Peters Township back on the power play with just over 2 minutes to go in the opening stanza. Griffin Roth, the guilty man here. Well, the two of us called a game, Brian, yesterday at the Armu Island Sports Center between Greater Latrobe and Montour that had 2 total penalties the whole time. We already have 3 in the first period here. Camp pulls it forward off the draw, a nifty move, but he shot it wide. Now Camp kicks it to his stick. John Camp behind the goal. Savagely hands off to the puck support there, and the man of Drew Wilbert. Back to John Camp. Camp 5 points in 5 games this season. Swung around in front inadvertently by the Rams' Anthony Erlane, but no trouble there, and Pine-Richland sends it the length.
I think my second game also had 2 penalties in it yesterday, and my game previous to this was 2 penalties. And it was a 5-on-3 that was involved in that. Oh, there was 3. There was 1 at the end of the game.
Drew Wilbert with the dump around. Tyndall ran into resistance in the form of Camp, but a bouncing puck out to the line can't be handled by Hunter Ferguson. It'll have to be the captain, Mark Lehman. Behind the back feed, over to Ferguson. Back to Lehman, in some trouble there. A tough pass to handle with Desjardins creeping up. But the Indians are still going to come out of there with it and move it in with a controlled zone entry. Drew Wilbert has Ferguson with him. Drew hangs on, finds brother Eric, back out to the line. Ferguson pumps and shoots. It's deflected wide. Under a minute to play in the first period. Indians trying to add to their lead with another power play goal. Eric to the blue line, and Ferguson, he walks that line, backpedaling. Causes the defender in front of him, Desjardins, to stumble down. Camp's in front of the goal. Pass comes through to him. Then it slipped under his stick. Ferguson was there, second layer, but he couldn't handle it either. 40 seconds left in the first. Still a power play for Peters Township, but Desjardins, the active man on that PK, he got the puck and he got the clear, 200 feet. Half a minute left in the first. Lehman stretching out, ripping one, blocked by Fulmer. Put around the wall by Lehman, but it'll deflect out to center ice. Hanna with 19 seconds to go, handed it over. This is Charles Mill. Mill bumped by Hanna, so Hanna made up for his mistake there. Power play is over. Sharp angle shot booted out by Wilbert high into the slot. Still free, and Eric Wilbert takes it with 5 seconds left. He'll shoot it from just behind the red line, as it turns out, so 0.6 seconds remain. Pine-Richland's going to need to shoot it off this faceoff to get a goal, but they'll still have an offensive zone draw to end this frame.
This has been a fun one, sir. This is this back and forth that they've had going on. Not a lot of deep pressure for either team, if you look at it. They're getting opportunities, but the opposition's breaking it up. And
speaking of breaking it up, that would be Jack Zakin poking the puck away, preventing a final second goal from Pine-Richland. What to finish your thought? I think we believe we'd see a couple of teams who are both playing well recently and have been in good form, so not surprised.
Nobody's taking control of this game if you look at it. They're both getting their opportunities. Peters Township probably several more opportunities than Pine-Richland at this point, but if you look at it, they're definitely not being able to take advantage of them. Neither team is giving each other the opportunity to get those deep cycles. That was probably the best cycle I saw was on that power play for Peters Township at the end of the period.
So PT goes 1 for 2 on the power play in the first period. Pine-Richland 0 for 1. I'm Matt Geica. Brian Mitchell is with me, reprising our roles from last night at the Island Sports Center. This is night 2 of Berg Hockey Live. Doubleheaders we're presenting here in broadcast form. We've had the video the first 2 nights. We weren't sure if we would have that for all the games.
It's not going to be there all the time, but there'll be a lot of audio broadcasts as we move along in this venture because a lot of rinks don't have the capability for video. And we'd rather not bring you something that we're unable to present. And audio's, perfectly fine. A lot of us have the faces for audio out there, and you want to definitely present that, especially me. I probably should be on audio permanently. You should probably just hide me and lock me up for a podcast and never bring me out every once in a while. But, yeah.
You're too modest.
We're doing the best we can. We're trying to bring you more and more, and as we move along, we'll let you know where we're going to be. I don't have anything lined up for next week yet, but I will tell you there will be something Monday night. So stick around and hold on. I'll figure it out as we continue to move along.
And follow Pittsburgh Hockey Digest on social media, by the way. That's where we have so many of the announcements. The website, of course, is great, berghockey.com. But as you see here, we do use social media to full effect, including this Facebook live stream. The assists were announced on the Braves centered goal. They go to Barrett, which we knew, and Dylan McElhaney, which we didn't. So second period has begun with Peters Township up 1-0. And there is the goal scorer centered. Cross corner dump, spins to a halt in the left circle. McElhaney swings it back across the zone, taken on by Barrett. His attempted shot was blocked by Morris, put right out in front. McElhaney got the shot from point blank off the setup from Zakin. But there's Stauffer to deny it and hang on to that rebound at just 29 seconds into this period.
I think you underestimate the sneakiness, sir. I don't know if they'll get that reference or not, but that was a sneaky shot in front by McElhaney. Just tried to chip it in off the pass, and perfect position for Stauffer there.
I got the reference, and that's what's important. Everyone else will have to look it up. We're not going to give it away. Barrett just barely kept this one on the blue paint. How about that?
That's your homework for next broadcast.
Zakin shovel play.
Find the quote.
Pass McElhaney. Give you a hint, it's John Tortora who says it in the movie in question. An offside player, maybe a hand pass, pardon me, in the neutral zone.
I think we found a new tradition there, partner.
I think so, too. I'll be all right with that. Draw coming up outside the Pine-Richland line. Other scores in AAA. Bethel Park outlasting Central Catholic 6-5 at the Alpha Ice Complex in Harmarville tonight. So BP gets a couple of points. By the way, Pine-Richland at 4-1-1. They've only played 6 times, but they're just a point behind Peters Township, which has played 3 more times than them. So a real chance here for the Rams to make some hay with all these games in hand. This is Mill, centering play, but taken away by Hanna, and then Mill was wiped out on the corner by Caden Slavin. Slavin, the senior forward, in his 10th varsity appearance. Dabkowski poked off his stick. Nicely done by the Rams, and it'll be Hanna lassoing this one back at his line. Pass was away from Bush, though. Enos comes in, but the puck ended up in the corner. Got lost in some skates, and then kicked along behind the goal line. Jack Carnevale to Fulmer at the point. Powers it in deep. Hanna, the flip up the far side, and again it's Davin Dabkowski with plenty of room to roam. He'll fire this one in, though. He's at the end of his shift. Some heavy legs, and now fresh bodies out there for Rick Tingle's Indians. Indians at 5-4 on the year. Haven't gone to overtime yet. Icing here against Pine-Richland. And you mentioned in our pregame that the Rams went to OT on opening night, September the 30th, against Seneca Valley. Losing that one in the shootout. But that also marked the most saves on the season by Daniel Stauffer, 30 against the Raiders.
That game was something else. That comeback with the 2 goals from
Ferguson Rister bounces in, and Stauffer makes the stop.
2 goals from Salisbury late in that game to be able to tie things up. That was a crazy matchup. If you get a chance to go back and look at that one.
Look at the chest play from Morris. Like he plays some soccer in his spare time. Love that. Usually you see a player reach with the glove, but he just shouldered it away and got the clear. Now Drew Wilbert on the counterattack for PT. Ferguson, the defender, in deep. And then Ferguson is run into by his opposite number, Griffin Roth, and the puck squirts to the net. That's where Stauffer holds onto it. Kind of a form tackle there by Roth on Ferguson. I don't know if those two have a history or what. That was an interesting way to go about it. No penalty from it. No harm, no foul. 14:23 to go in the second. Foltz on the tie-up draw. Barrett keeps it alive in the O zone. This will be Drew Wilbert on this near wing side. To Foltz. Spun a pass to the front, but nothing but green shirts there. And it's taken away by Sam Perry. Up the near side, Mooney. He's hammered hard by Seth Hanna, who's throwing the body around tonight. That was quite the crunching check. Mooney's still looking for his stick in front of the Rams bench. Meanwhile, it's a 2-on-2 rush back for the Indians, but the pass from Eric to Drew did not connect. Cleared out by Anthony Erlane. A couple of Erlanes as well. I mentioned two Wilberts, at least two Wilbert skaters and one Wilbert goalie. Lehman shot it. There are two Erlanes as well, and here's one of them. Or pardon me, that was Perry, actually. But we have Anthony Erlane, and we have Alex Erlane. Anthony's the defender, Alex is the forward on the Pine-Richland Rams. The shot from out high by Drew Wilbert didn't get through. Easily blocked down there by Mooney and flipped through by Drew, right through the slot, in fact, but it ends up in the trapper of Stauffer with Eric making a beeline to the net, but a little behind that one. 13.5 left in the second. One goal on the board belongs to Bray Sennert of the PT Indians. PT at 5-4, not a bad record, but 9 points behind North Allegheny for the top spot in Class AAA. The Tigers have put a down payment on the regular season title halfway through the season. And they have played 10 out of 20. This is the 10th game for PT. So past this point, we're already in the second half of the season, believe it or not. Still in early December. Rip shot from along the wall by Wild. Stop was made by Wilbert. Play continues on. It's Wild turning this way and that near the corner. Wild, good little saucer pass out to Fulmer. Handles and shoots, but it's blocked by Mertens at the point of attack. Carnevale spun it deep. Kalpakis to the far wing. Morse taps it along. Still the Rams have it. Carnevale centering, looking for Kalpakis. That's poked off his blade. Morse ripped it in deep. Good little pass there to Wild. Wild centering, and it'll be taken on by Mark Lehman in a good defensive position. Now Camp leans in against Morris. Camp trying to deke past Morris and Fulmer, and then Lehman came sliding through and got a piece of Morris on the way. Turned over. Ryder Mertens trying to come out in front with it. It'll be handed off to Jack Zakin rather. 72, not 75, but that was blocked as well. So the Rams protecting their goaltender. They haven't seen a lot of shots get through. This is icing against Pine-Richland, but you see why the Rams have such a good defensive record, allowing fewer than 2 goals per game so far this year.
They were seeing a lot of that, and like as I was mentioning last year during that run, they were known as an offensive first team with the ability to have Stauffer back there as a stopgap. This season, they're relying a lot more on their defensive effort and their the pressure that they would have to put on the. And it was a good change to go into AAA because I don't know if the offensive output they had last year would have translated well into that league. So that's what looks different this season to me.
And don't get me wrong, Pine-Richland third in offense. Here they come again. Now Enos backdoor score! The Rams tie it up. Salisbury on the back post. That's a textbook 2-on-1, and it's 1-1 with 11:45 to go in the second period.
You can ask me to talk. Anybody from Pine-Richland can ask me to talk about them being a defensively minded team at any time if that's the result you guys are looking for. That was just a great play. Great play on a 2-on. Wait, and then get the pass across for the goal.
4th goal of the year for the junior Salisbury. You mentioned he had 2 against Seneca Valley, so he's dried up a bit lately, but maybe that'll get him going again. 4 goals against no assists. Give Lucas Enos the primary helper. And now that Indians try to come back with it, it'll be Biscardo. Energy line out for Rick Tingle, but it's broken up. And Alex Erlane rambling back, but his drive was rejected by Ferguson, who pressured him. Desjardins to the point. Anthony Erlane had his shot blocked. Tyndall has to retreat for it. Tyndall's bank play ahead. Roth over skates. Tossed up into the air by Ferguson. And one of the Indians, Zabkowski, was hogtied at center ice as Biscardo moves in for a wrist shot. Penalty will be coming up against Pine-Richland as Anthony Erlane touches the puck behind the net. 55 left in the second period. And PT will get its third power play of the game. Alex Erlane will have a seat.
I just saw the replay on the replay board and on my phone. Yeah, both times that wasn't even close.
Sometimes they're easier to call than others. That
Yeah.
time it was easier. For our two-man referee team, Brightbill and Schultz. Off the draw, the Indians have clear possession. Ferguson at the blue line, wristing, and Stauffer again absorbs it right in the 3-0 at the center of his chest. Pine-Richland with the, I don't want to call it old school style, but not a crest on their jersey, just Pine-Richland across the front in block lettering. And Peters Township with the familiar Indian crest. Broken up there in the middle. Carnevale tipped it away, and maybe a shorthanded look for Wild. No, Lehman will win the race to the puck. All the way back in his own left wing corner. 10.5 minutes left in the second. 90 seconds to go on this third PT power play. They've scored on 1 of 2 so far, have the Indians. Drew Wilbert galloping over the blue line. Spun it on back. Ferguson tees one up. Save made. Big rebound out toward the slot, but Eric Wilbert can't track it as it bounced and bounded away to the corner. Camp from behind the net. Camp took on a man, that's Esai Morse, poked away from him, but Drew Wilbert's there to follow up, but his dish out to the point bangs off the stick of Lehman and out to the red line. PT has to regroup. Ferguson goes cross rink. Eric Wilbert has a couple of men to beat. Couldn't get it past Morris, but the puck bounces right back to him on the attempted clear. Jack Carnevale won't be able to find this puck before Mark Lehman. Drew Wilbert teaming up to take the puck away from Esai Morse. Drew put it off of Morse, but now it'll be Carnevale wearing the A on his green jersey. Can't clear out this near side. Hanna down the wall. Drew Wilbert. 30 seconds to go on the power play. Lehman shot, stick save by Stauffer, and clear down and out by Richard Wild. Lehman, quick up, finds Camp. Camp to Zakin. Kind of leaned away from that check of Fulmer. Play continues on in behind the Pine-Richland net. Down to 11 seconds to go. On the penalty to Alex Erlane. To the point, Barrett makes the simple play over to Hanna. Back to Barrett, redirected a couple of times on the way. And just hops wide of that right post. PR back to full strength. PT still with the puck though. Camp. Forehand, backhand, forehand, and it ends up jamming in on the side of the net. And that's where Stauffer stops the music. 8:44 remaining in the second. Pine-Richland now has killed off 2 penalties in a row for the number 1 PK unit in Class AAA. So the Rams survive that turn in momentum, and they're back on even terms in a couple of different ways. 5-on-5 skating and 1-1 on the scoreboard. Connor Salisbury had the equalizer earlier in this period, put out in front of the net from behind the goal by Jack Zakin. Here's a one-man rush for Charles Mill, but he can't make anything happen. The 5-goal man stripped of that puck. Now Hanna. Kind of sashaying his way on back. He was looking for a man and then eventually decided to shoot the puck, and it was deflected out of play.
Had the opportunity there. They had a 4-on-3 coming into the zone. Took the shot and just had a block in front. Face-off will be down low. You were mentioning about the jerseys. If you're a collegiate fan, then this is the same kit North Dakota uses.
Yeah, it looks just like that. I was trying to place it. Yes, that is.
Pine-Richland uses the same kit that North Dakota has.
Nodak, formerly the Fighting Sioux, now the Fighting Hawks. Back at center ice, the backhand from Barrett. Couldn't connect to Biscardo ahead, but this will be icing against the Rams of Pine-Richland. Alex Wilbert has had a pretty quiet period here. Outside of the goal that went in behind him, I can't recall a save, actually, in this second.
You're actually probably correct. I don't think he's seen a lot. Peters Township has had a lot of the possession in their own in the Pine-Richland zone so far. Finally, a team starting to take a little bit of the momentum and carry it for a little bit longer than a couple seconds.
It's part of a stretch of 3 out of 4 games at home before the holiday break for Peters Township. I mentioned they beat Cannon Mac last week in the Miners Cup rivalry game. Next week, they're at Erie Cathedral Prep, but the following week, on the 17th, they're home to Butler, whom they defeated earlier this season. Up there at Frozen Pond in Valencia. Kalpakis ahead now for Pine-Richland. Shot from the wall, kicked away by Wilbert. So now he's got an official save in the second period. Back to the line, and a wrister by Jack Carnevale went careening wide. Or pardon, that was Fulmer, actually. Now behind the net, too, Carnevale. And to Fulmer again. Fulmer! Hard shot. Not a lot of wind up, but he got all of it. And again, it's booted out by Wilbert. Carnevale behind the goal. Looked to put that puck into the middle, but that was blocked out. Here's a chance. Wild turns and a blind shot. He just fired it toward where he thought the net was. It was tipped wide. Wilbert makes the save there on Carnevale's deflection. So here come the Rams at 5-on-5. Wild. Kalpakis back to Wild. Lines one up, and he snapped it wide of the top left corner.
Just missed it.
Rip shot from Fulmer. That's rejected. And flipped out to center ice, end over end by Bush. Dabkowski with the intercept. Dabkowski, high shot, didn't get a lot on it, and Stauffer saw it the whole way, gloving it down right in front of his goalie mask. 6:28 left on the second period clock in a 1-1 game.
They needed to get a little possession down in the Peters Township zone. It's been a rough go for the second period for Pine-Richland. Peters Township's just put a lot of pressure on them in the offensive zone and haven't been able to get out as often as probably they would have wanted to, other than the goal.
Line out here is Anthony Foltz between the two Wilberts. Interesting change here for Rick Tingle. Centered, Eric Wilbert's shot. Didn't get through, blocked in front by Tyndall. Put a big skate in front of that puck. Hanna does well to handle that pass out to the blue line. Over to Drew Wilbert. That's blocked again by Roth this time.
Good keep.
Bouncing around, and Hanna flipped it ahead. Drew Wilbert to Foltz. Foltz spins. Check, but he made the play. Owen Barrett. Drive, score!
Another point shot from Barrett.
And it goes in again. I don't know if that was some friendly fire for Pine-Richland or if a member of the Tribe got a stick on it, but it's 2-1. Peters Township, all that offensive zone pressure pays off with 5:51 to go in the second.
And you got to look at that. That all started with Hanna at the point, getting a stick in there and keeping that possession in the zone, creating that opportunity, and Barrett just lets it rip again. That's what, 3 in a consecutive, at least broadcast that we've had here with Peters Township, that he's been able to put one of those goals in.
I didn't see him as an offensive force last year as a junior, but he is producing big time as a senior. Getting those shots through, and he was the first through the handshake line at the bench, so I think that's his goal. Mm-hmm. That might have gone off, or I'm pretty sure it went off of a Pine-Richland stick or part of the equipment of one of the defenders there. Because it hot past Stauffer, didn't have a prayer. We saw the change in direction. Mill, off-wing shot, missed the goal. Eric Wilbert gets an assist.
Foltz
Gets the secondary. Mertens now on the carry with Peters Township back ahead 2-1. Now late stages, second period, 5 to go in it. Mertens is stripped. Morse has it. Put it through the legs of Salisbury, but Mill will catch up to it. Mill has Salisbury on his right, but Mill cuts back a couple of times, got around Camp on the second move, and his long shot, 45-footer, was shouldered away by Wilbert. That's Alex Wilbert in net. Seth Hanna, the high toss. That was gloved down by Fulmer, but Fulmer took his time, and he's bumped off the puck. Camp dragging it through strongly. Looked to hand it off to Lehman. It's Lehman, McElhaney, and Camp the line out now for PT. McElhaney pulled it away from his man. Lehman turns to rip, save, hops into the air, and McElhaney's on it again. Thought about going behind the net, instead feeds it out to Barrett. Night like tonight might be a strong decision to feed number 14 at the blue line, but he changes here. Bush is now on in his place. Ferguson, floating shot, deflection, score again!
That's Camp. Camp got the last stick on that one. Here comes the replay.
Well, Camp's looking back to the point. Seth Hanna shot it. Camp has his hand in the air. I think he's going to get that goal with 4:15 left.
Another goal for Camp. He is on fire in his limited time, earning that right to be in that position. But they're going to, I don't know, they're looking at this for a high stick, or I don't think it was. I don't think they can look at it.
There's
they're
no
at least
place to
talking
look
about
at
it. But
unless
they're
they sprint up here.
They talk about it, but that was good. So let's see who they give this to. But I would say it's Camp at this point, and it's 3-1 now. Peters Township over Pine-Richland.
3-point shots, 3 deflections for the Indians. And they have taken command late in this second frame. 2 of those deflections by Indians, 1 by a Ram, who shall remain nameless because, well, we couldn't tell. Zakin unable to pull that puck out of the now snow-covered corner back there.
Camp awarded the goal. McElhaney. Camp from McElhaney and Ferguson on the goal.
Yeah, it was Ferguson. I said Hannah, but it was Ferguson who shot at 78, not 18. I think they got the assists in reverse order, but either way. It'd be Tyndall bouncing it up to the Peters Township red line.
That thing could have bounced twice, really.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it was deflected twice. I'm not sure.
But more credit to them for getting that assist on McElhaney if they did bounce twice.
Had an odd look to it on its way to the net. Wasn't a high-speed shot by any means. But again, a change in direction en route. 3 minutes left in the second. To the sidewall, Samuel Perry. Hannah tried to staple him there, couldn't do it. Poked away as the Rams look for a goal now. In front, wide open. Score! Howard! The puck bounced right to him in the low slot. Wilbert kind of shrugs his shoulders as if to say, I don't know what I'm supposed to do there. A point-blank chance, and Howard put it through him just 5 feet away. Derek Howard's second goal of the year has made it 3-2 with 2:48 to play in the second.
Bounced off a couple players in the slot, just straight to Howard, who was sitting on he had a hard time corralling it, figuring out what he was going to do with it, but once he got it, he was able to put that behind. Oh, no goal. No goal.
Oh, wow, okay.
No goal.
I've already written it in my book. It is not a goal.
I'm sitting here looking at replay and then watching the face-off to the right. My apologies at home, folks.
All right, it's still 3-1. And we may never find out what happened there.
Doesn't matter now.
You know, Howard celebrated like it went in. Maybe it didn't go in. I'm not sure. Or maybe it was a hand pass. That's also a possibility, or a high stick on the puck. It was in a tie-up for a while.
I think it's just the exhaustion of doing 2 days in a row. I think we just saw something that didn't happen.
Hey, Howard celebrated it, but
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Hannah takes it here, banked it ahead, flipped up in the air by Eric Wilbert. Under 2 to go in the second period. So PT catches a break. A turnover in their own zone, but the Rams can't convert. Shot in by Morse. Around the horn it goes. Barrett gave it away there. Salisbury, the goal scorer. Behind the net to Enos. But it's grabbed onto by Eric Wilbert. Aerial play. Now Eric tries to catch up to it at the blue line. Ran right through his brother Drew. Back to Eric. Good little pass there to Foltz. Foltz on his backhand. Looked to go short side, top shelf, but he missed. Salisbury up in the air and off the glove of Hannah. Salisbury pulls it down, but it's flicked away from him. Tyndall has to go back for it. 1:11 left in the second. Tyndall, one move and a second. Gave it up in the center of the ice. Bush fires it right back in for Peters Township. Still leading it by 2, 3-1. Salisbury tips it ahead. No icing here as it got behind Bush. And the senior defenseman with a rolling puck. Watch out. He had Mill right in his face. Had to be careful with it. But now Ferguson has some room and some time. Off to Bush. 40 seconds to go in the period. Bush. The shot in from center ice, and it's handled away by Stauffer. Creeping in. Ferguson. Again, the dump and chase is on for Peters Township. Mertens try to wipe out a man, but the puck still came loose to Roth. He overskates. Desjardins lost it. Eric Wilbert to Lehman. Wanted to go on a one-touch pass to Mertens in front. That didn't work out. Mertens spinning. Oh, and he just put it wide of the left post. 10 seconds left in the second. Roth again. Rams can't clear. Mertens. His shot was blocked in front. Back to the slot. It's Mertens again off the pass from Lehman as time expires in period number 2. So 3 goals combined in that period 2 for Peters Township, and the Indians take a 2-goal lead into the ice cut. So we thought we saw a Pine-Richland goal. We did not. I guess the eyes deceive in this case. Just the one penalty in that period. issued to Pine-Richland. PT came up empty, though, on the power play. Just one chance so far for Pine-Richland in this game, and they have not converted on it. No live box score, so we can't give you the shots on goal. But PT finally found ways, Brian, to get pucks through. It's been a challenge against the Rams tonight.
I think they just let the Rams come out and play their game and then just adjusted is what ended up happening, is they just were able to get in there, get around the checks. They started to see the checks before they came because they saw that Pine-Richland was giving them pressure on every turn. So they were able to make that secondary step before we got to, before they were able to get into the zone and then make those quick passes. Getting the shots from the point while you have a wide open player, you're not going to hit them if you don't have any within 10 feet of them. So that's a big thing. And if you realize how the goals were scored, all through the conglomeration in front of the net from shots from the point. So if you're not getting pressure on somebody, you're going to have to get an opportunity there. And that's how you're going to beat Stauffer. Stauffer is good one-on-one. You get those redirects, he's human.
Well, yeah, every goalie is going to have trouble with those. Stauffer hasn't been beaten cleanly yet, but his team trails it 3-1. So how it goes here on Berg Hockey Live, we'll take a short break, and then we'll come back with some scoreboard action. We'll go out of town. Scores around the PIHL, courtesy of PIHLhockey.com. Thanks to our friends with Peters Township Community Television Channel 7 for helping us out with the video tonight. We will be back for the third period, and who knows, maybe beyond, on Pittsburgh Hockey Digest Facebook page.
On the board, Central Catholic Bethel Park. Bethel Park 6-5 win at Alpha Ice Complex. The Cathedral Prep Ramblers fell to Cannon McMillan in our opening game, 5-3. You'll find that broadcast archived on our Facebook Live, Pittsburgh Hockey Digest. There was only one game in Double-A today. I believe it emanated from up in Belmont. I have no score, Plum and Armstrong right now. Unfortunately, we don't have that yet for you. Single A, we had the internet being slow on me here. One big score. Norwin 17, Swickley Academy nothing. No score from Westmont Hilltop Kiski. Greensburg Salem, Bishop McCourt, no score. Both those games played at the First Summit Arena at the Cambria County War Memorial in Johnstown. Fox Chapel defeating Freeport 2-1 at Alpha Ice Complex. Not defeating them, it's in progress right now. North Catholic over Chartiers Valley at the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex 2-0. Class B, we had some action. It was one game. Neshannock facing McDowell up in Mercyhurst. Neshannock leading McDowell 7-3 right now. Here we have a score of 3-1 heading into the third. Matt Geika will be back momentarily. Berg Hockey Live on Pittsburgh Hockey Digest. We will return in a second.
Back for the start of the third period, or pretty close to it. The referees, Bright, Bill, and Schultz, setting the goal frames back on their marsh pegs at the Printscape Arena in South Point, Pennsylvania. 3-1. Peters Township over Pine-Richland here in this first meeting between these two schools on the ice since the 2015-16 season, the first year I did these games for Peters Township. It has been a while. They were always fun get-togethers, and we know how good Pine-Richland was last year, even though they graduated 17 players from their Double-A championship team, both Penguins Cup and state titles. As for Peters Township, they're always strong in Class AAA. One of the biggest programs in the state, and able to roll over year after year. Now they're trying to recover from a three-game losing streak. I can't recall a three-game losing streak in the 5 years I've been doing this for the Indians, so that was new territory for everyone on this team, short of Rick Tingle and the coaching staff. So ever since then, they're 2-1. They won the Miners Cup last week against Ken McMillan, and now they are one solid period away from making it 3 out of 4. For Pine-Richland, though, still a chance to extend that three-game win streak to 4, but they'll need a dramatic comeback like they had in the first game of the season against Seneca Valley in their official return to Class AAA. They lost that game in the shootout, but they did get a point out of it. It's been part of their 4-1-1 start as they have come back to the highest level of PIHL pucks. I'm Matt Geika with Brian Mitchell. That's our setup for the third period, and What we saw in the second period was Peters Township team gradually winning the territory battle, Mitch, and eventually breaking through on a couple of deflected shots from out high.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw the tenacity. Like we said in the first period, when we left that first period, it was nobody was able to grab that brass ring and just take the momentum and run. That second period, Peters Township just found something that they liked on their offense. Switched up lines. You took the Wilberts off. You put you put the Wilberts with you brought Camp up to that top line with McElhinney and then you put
Mark
Lehman. So it was definitely a couple changes there. They were able to maintain that momentum. Other than that one, that break for Pine-Richland, it was a solid period. It was a perfect period for Peters Township.
Well, I did not win the 50-50, so we will move on for the start of the third period. And here's a change in lines again. John Camp with Mark Lehman, and now the freshman Ryder Mertens gets a chance to ride alongside of those two offensive powerhouses. So see how that plays out. Morse on the take back for Pine-Richland, gave it away. Mertens was in a perfect defensive spot. Camp off the blocker, rebound, and that's blocked in front. Another rebound chance, and Stauffer has that one after an initial save. He makes the second one on a soft shot that was weakened on the way, but what a chance, what a couple of chances, in fact, for the Indians right at the start of this third.
Yeah, a lot of locating the puck going on. You don't get to see that often, especially at the high school level. The puck sits in a crease and, swat at it. Both players had a knowledge of where that puck was and had sticks on it, and Stauffer had a hard time corralling that.
Camp turns to shoot. That's blocked out of play by Esai Morse. The block shots have to be upwards of 20 right now for Pine-Richland, maybe getting close to 30. We don't keep track of that here, or the PIHL doesn't keep track of it as well on the website, but man, it feels like a ton in this game. Both the classic layout type of blocks like the one we just saw from Morris, and also the ones where you're just in the way or in good defensive position and the puck hits you. We've seen all varieties from the boys in green tonight, but they still trail 3-1, so offense is going to have to be the aim of this third period, at least primarily. You can never neglect the defensive end, even when you're trailing by a couple. Here's defense to offense. Mill puts it back across the ice, and there's Mark Lehman to take that puck. He was in a nice spot, and he ripped it down the ice, though. That'll be icing against the Indians.
Enos gave it back over to an opportunity to come into the zone, but he just stood there. He was wide open on that break-in, and the opportunity was there for him to go streaking into the zone, and I think that's what they were expecting for the pass, and he just didn't go. There was no start there.
Mill takes the shot off the clean face-off win. Another blocker save from Alex Wilbert. McElhinney pushes it back deep into his own end to create some space. Wind up a bit. Barrett, cross-ring pass is a good one to Jack Zakin. Gets in over the blue line, put into this near side corner. Anthony Erlane was run off by Bray Center, who scored the first goal, and it hops right out in front, does that puck, and clicked away by the Rams, right on net, so no icing here. I think Tyndall took care of that one, cleaning up some mess. Seth Hanna ducks in behind his goal, gave it right away though. And then Hanna runs right through Alex Erlane, and that's a penalty, probably for a high hit. Well, they say interference. Boy, Erlane took the worst of that. Alex Erlane, he's still gathering himself. Hanna's going to be penalized.
Oh, mommy.
And
yeah,
you just looked at the replay there. And Pine-Richland will get an early power play in this third. That's exactly what they wanted.
Stopped his stride, just stood right in front of him. And didn't see him, came around the player. And just, I won't call it a blind side because he's looking straight at him, but it was like an eclipse.
Total eclipse of the forechecker in this case.
Let's not hit him with another effort.
Yeah, we'll stop that. We've already aged ourselves gratuitously in this one. We'll do the face-off again in the offensive zone. Pine-Richland 0 for 1 on the power play, but the power play has been good this year. 5 for 21, counting the earlier miss. Off the scramble. Poked behind into the side of the Peters Township net and taking it and firing it down, Owen Barrett. Stauffer puts it on a tee, back behind his goal. Fulmer missed on that connection ahead to Wild, so Drew Wilbert has it now. Drew over to Eric. Now Drew joins the party, shorthanded rush. No, it doesn't end up into any kind of a chance. Eric Wilbert was content to just dump in. Pine-Richland has allowed one shorthanded goal this season. The Indians have a couple, both from Mark Lehman, as we discussed earlier, both at Butler back in October. Fulmer on the carry in. Fulmer's shot and his follow through after his shot was blocked hit Barrett under the face mask and caught him in the neck, it appeared. Barrett's reaching for that part of his body right now. He appears to be okay.
Just a little frustrated off of it.
You don't think about follow-throughs very often, but that's
No.
what happened there. Fulmer cuts to the middle with a sharp shot, but again, Wilbert has that one.
And a lot of the time, the necks are exposed. So, you know, if you get that follow through every once in a while, you get them right in the Adam's apple. That's not a good feeling.
No, back when I played in the prehistoric era, we had to wear the neck guards. I believe that's no longer a thing.
A lot of teams require it.
Okay, so it's not a PIHL.
I don't think it's a regulation. I thought it was a USA Hockey regulation. But
Moving shot from Mill there, by the way. Loose in the slot, centered. Finds his man Anthony Foltz out by the blue line. Foltz makes Mill turn around. Foltz going 1v2. Oh my. Kamikaze mission there.
That's a wild way to avoid a check.
Well, he got under it, but he ends up sliding feet first into the end boards, which can be dangerous in and of itself. Charles Mill gains the blue line. Rams are 5-man strong on the power play. Drop pass, blocked and cleared by Sennert. He did both. Salisbury couldn't get it through from out by the blue line. Down to 7 seconds to go on this second Rams power play of the night. This late game in our Berg Hockey Live doubleheader. Pulling it away. Oh boy. A hit to the side of the head of Lucas Enos by Mark Lehman, and that'll be a second consecutive power play for the Rams, just as their first one in this period ended. So trip is the call. I thought it would definitely be some sort of a head contact or maybe an interference.
He hit him everywhere but in the lower part of his body. Like Lehman, that was just a coincidence of him being as tall as he is. And Enos, that was the second time he took a hit that resulted.
So back-to-back power plays just 4 seconds after the Indians return to full strength. They'll go shorthanded again. Third try for Pine-Richland, trailing it 3-1. Driven ahead by Owen Barrett. It goes off of Carson Kalpakis. Now here's John Camp, circling the net. Camp, patient, and flips it in behind.
They got one back there on a trip. Camp caught the Pine-Richland players that come around.
Camp's open in front, centered instead, puts it on net, and no appreciable rebound for Camp to hop onto. Stauffer gathers it in. Daniel Stauffer, he's played every minute of every game for Pine-Richland so far this season. Indians by a couple. They've already collected 3 wins at home, but they've lost twice here at Princecape, including once to North Allegheny, your current far and away Class AAA leaders.
North Allegheny still has 2 games against a lot of the teams other than Peters Township, where they finished up. They played both their series against Peters Township and Upper St. Clair already. They still have 1 more with Seneca Valley, 2 with Pine-Richland. A lot of their games are going to be played at Barrel coming up. We were discussing that on our last coverage. So
right.
There's a lot of room for some of these teams to make a move as long as they can take care of the business in their other games.
Drew Wilbert cleared that one 200 feet for the Indians. Rams trying again. Lucas Enos slicing through, but he lost the puck again. Center got the stick in the way. Eric Wilbert on the follow through, ripped it over the net as he came in and over the line with centered in tow. 37 seconds left on this third Pine-Richland power play. No real chances on either of the power plays in this third period. Enos takes the handoff from Salisbury. Slip right back out in front. Fulmer wristing, and there's a block for one of the Indians. Eric Wilbert deflects it into the protective netting over the high glass.
That one was ticketed for a treadmill on the second floor.
Yes, as it says at the entrance to this building, we're more than just an ice rink. There's the fitness center down to our left. There's Bubba's Burgers beyond the far side glass. And again, a healthy crowd watching this one.
Converted rink on the opposite side. So
yeah, they're playing soccer behind us.
They're playing lacrosse whenever I came in. It is more, and there's a martial arts area and everything. Beautiful facility now.
Tyndall shoots, and again deflected out of play, but this time by the goaltender, Alex Wilbert, who kicked it away. Wilbert, whose jersey reads 43 on the sleeves tonight, but 34 on the back. Again, I don't think I've ever seen that in my life. Maybe there was a change in jersey. Perhaps his old one got ripped. Tyndall once more.
The cost of replacing the numbers.
Unable to put that through traffic. PT kills off another one. Mark Lehman's out of the box. Camp ahead as Lehman making a cut to the net. Now Camp finds the late man, Mertens. High-rising backhander, got nothing but glass. Bush on the shove play behind the net. Lehman hit, but he comes off that hit and gets the shot off that was stopped. Rebound, put it in front, nets off its pegs, doesn't count as Camp shovels it home. But nothing doing there. The whistle had sounded. Play had come to a halt with 10:56 left in regulation time. PT can't add on to its lead, but big picture, it's just killed off back-to-back power plays for Pine-Richland, which is now 0 for 3 on the night.
That was a really close opportunity for Peters Township there on Pine-Richland. The net just came off right prior to that shot. That shovel almost went in. I thought it went in, to be honest with you, but I didn't see the post off on the opposite side.
Oh, it definitely went in the net, but the net was off its right peg. Mill ripping one from his off-wing side. Pretty easy save for Wilbert, who parries it away to the corner. Dylan McElhaney. Soft dish to center. Comes off his blade, put right back in front by McElhaney, and it slipped right by Jack Zakin at the left post.
Missed his stick by a couple inches.
Salisbury couldn't make the play inside his own line. Dangerous area to turn the puck over. Indians back on the forecheck. This time it's Morse. Bangs it off the kick plate. Handled here by Owen Barrett of Peters Township. Back to the Rams and put in deep. Hanna put it off the stick of Wild. So the Rams again trying to create something. McElhaney head up. Skates in over the blue line. Down the wing, McElhaney. Reverses it into the corner. Gavin Dabkowski back to McElhaney. Hesitated, got around his checker and shot that wide of the net. Bush chipping it down the wall. But taken over by Dominic Desjardins. Desjardins shoots off the glove of Wilbert and he pulls it in as it threatened to skip away from him. Under 10 to play in the third.
I was about to say that the physicality started to wind down a little bit here, and both teams are trying to get involved. But then I just saw the little extracurricular between Ferguson and Desjardins. So, and Ferguson got up a little slow after that.
It has not been a game for the faint of heart, as you see here. Jake Bush getting into somewhat of a wrestling match with Carson Kalpakis. Rams have to start at center ice again. Anthony Erlane, the senior defender. Cracked it around the wall, but it's right back in the possession of the Tribe. And Jake Bush, he's pounded as he moves the puck. Checks aplenty in this one. This late game after Cannon Mac took care of Erie Cathedral Prep in the first game of our AAA doubleheader from Prince-Scape. Here in South Point, Jack Carnevale pokes it up ahead. Erlane joining the rush, but Ferguson blocked that to the corner. Good stick. Stick on puck, as they say. And, in front of the net, there's a man throwing punches there. Is that Erlane? Yes, it is. Anthony Erlane on Hunter Ferguson. Wow, I haven't seen that in a while. Well, we're not going to see Anthony Erlane back in this game again, I don't believe. And Ferguson is flat on his back. I didn't see what precipitated that. Just appeared to be a pretty typical collision after Erlane's initial shot was blocked. So Anthony Erlane is reaching up to his face. Ferguson's going to the box. Erlane is halfway down toward the tunnel to our right. Oh, the EMT on staff has gone to the Peters Township penalty box to talk to Ferguson. Referees Schultz and Brightbill talking it over. non-hockey play, just frustration boiling over.
I had a couple like the extracurriculars going on after the play, things like that. You boil up after a while, and this is the type of stuff that occurs. Ferguson, like I said, just a quick shove after the play from Desjardins on that previous play. As he was slow to get up from that and came out, and we had this situation, and then this happened.
Wow, you hate to see that with 8:50 left. And the game's still in the balance. It's not out of hand. It's still 3-1.
No.
Quick recap of the scoring. Brace Centered scored a power play goal about 3 minutes into this game off an Owen Barrett point shot. It was 1-0 Peters Township going into the second. Pine-Richland tied it up. Great pass, great 2-on-1. The play went from Charles Mill out to center to Lucas Enos, and then he hit his man back door, Connor Salisbury, to tie it up with 11:45 left in the second period. But PT with 2 consecutive shots from the point that got through. The first one from Barrett was deflected into the net off of a Pine-Richland player with 5:51 left before the intermission. And then John Camp deflected the point drive from Hunter Ferguson. What we have here in front of us now is Thomas Mooney serving the penalty, which will be given to Anthony Erlane. As I suspected, we will not see Erlane the rest of the night. We'll wait for the announcement. No live box score tonight on PIHLhockey.com, so we'll have to catch up with the official call afterward if we miss it here. We're going to try not to. Couldn't tell, is Bright Bill saying 2-2 to Pine-Richland? He's given a misconduct of some form to Anthony Erlane to send him to the showers early. And what's loaded on the board is 4 minutes to Erlane and 2 to Hunter Ferguson. So what we'll have right now is 2 minutes of 4-on-4, and then after that, a Peters Township power play.
No, sir. They took the penalty off the board for Peters Township. It's going to be 4 minutes.
All right, so it'll just be a straight-up 2-minute power play for Peters Township.
Wait for the announcement.
They set it up, looking to put this game away are the Indians. Barrett, backside to Drew Wilbert. Now it's Lehman, ripping one. Didn't get through. Fulmer blocked that with the shin pad. Lehman rounds the goal, doing a lap in the offensive zone. Jersey flapping in the breeze. Drew Wilbert, backdoor. Eric Wilbert saves Stauffer.
Ferguson, 2 minutes for high sticking.
Ferguson gets 2 for high sticking.
Number 97, Anthony Erlane. 2 minutes for roughing, 2 minutes for head contact, and a 10-minute misconduct.
All right, so 2 for roughing, 2 for head contact, and a 10-minute misconduct to Anthony Erlane.
It's only a 2-minute minor is what the extra penalty is, not 4.
Right. So instead of playing the 4-on-4, they decided to just skip ahead to the power play. John Camp has another one. And the Indians lead 4-1. Simple as that. A stuff in front on the forehand, and with 8:15 left, PT may have put this one away. Camp's second of the night, his 6th of the season in just his 6th game. And Camp, the junior, continues that hot pace scoring-wise. He's a goal machine this year.
That's a goal per game now.
Yeah, goal per game and more than a point per game. PT gets 2 on the power play against the top PK unit in Class AAA. That's part of your headline tonight for sure. Like I said, nothing fancy. He just decided to take it upon himself. Called his own number and powered it past Stauffer on that short side post. Hopped into the net. So the power play should be over, but again, we're having a discussion at the timekeeper's table.
This game was moving so fast, and then the third period happened.
It was. Mooney will come out of the box. I think why is because it's not his penalty.
The power play is over.
Power play is over. It doesn't
back.
matter.
He can come back, but Ferguson can't because he's the coincidental.
Right.
So he's
he
got to
can't
stay
come
in.
out
So the extra minor is done.
Right.
So he can come out of the box. Ferguson's in there until the duration.
Yes, Ferguson has to wait for a stoppage here after his penalty has expired. So here's Tyndall in a 4-1 game. Peters Township converts. We get all the bookkeeping squared away. Man, that's the most exciting part of the game, isn't it?
And
figuring out what's going on with the penalties. We do have it sorted. Zakin parades out of a crowd with it to McElhaney. Near side centered. Couldn't kick it to his stick. Jack Tyndall helped break that up. Pine-Richland, which hasn't lost since October, on the verge of absorbing an L here at Princescape tonight. Hannah, a shot deflected down. I thought it was a high stick by Bray, centered in the slot.
The referees
didn't
looked
go
at each
in.
other. Yeah, they looked at each other from across the rink, and both said no.
Either way, we don't have to worry about it because it was booted out by Stauffer. Daniel Stauffer, the senior goalie, played well tonight. That camp shot, the jam shot, was the first time he's been beaten cleanly this evening. 3 deflections, and that play in front of the net. So he's given up 4, but don't let that stat line fool you. He's played well. In this nightcap on a Tuesday night, McElhaney couldn't kick it along, so Jake Bush has to handle back at his own blue line. Bush with 7 minutes exactly to go in the third period. Headmans it for Lehman. He didn't get a piece of it, apparently. It's icing against the Tribe. So I said Peters Township will be back at it next week up I-79 at the Mercyhurst Ice Center, assuming the lights are functioning in Mercyhurst.
Let's not talk about that, sir.
They'll take on Erie Cathedral Prep.
That's not a funny joke.
It's an inside joke for those of you who follow Robert Morris men's hockey. They had a game postponed with Mitch in the house to cover it for Pittsburgh Hockey Digest. They called the game because a grate was dislodged from an overhead light at the Ice Center. That was this past Friday night.
Yep.
So the
Black Friday
trip up was for naught for both you and the team.
2.5 hours each way.
In the snow? No, not really.
No,
not this time. Salisbury put it right back into the PT end.
I made a joke that I actually didn't have to go into the snow in Mercyhurst for like 3 straight times, which was a record.
That does sound like one, doesn't it?
3 consecutive trips without seeing snow. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, even if you go in July, that's an upset.
Yeah.
Up there. The land of lake effect. So John Camp has the only goal in this third period. He's put the Indians in the driver's seat. Andrew Poon jammed it through the checking of Connor Salisbury. Ryder Mertens couldn't get it online, and now it's Joseph Fulmer revving it up. Fulmer leads the rush. See why he has all those points this season, 8 to be exact from the defense spot. Strong skater, confident stick handler, and a big player too. Good size as well. Fulmer gave this one up though on the check from Fultz. It's Eric Wilbert rounding Tyndall, or at least trying to. Put it past Carnevale over to Drew Wilbert. Dangles around and takes it in behind the net. Out to Barrett. Barrett, slap pass, redirected on the way. In the high slot now. Eric Wilbert turns it back into the near corner. Fultz on the chase. Fultz checked hard by the captain, Joe Fulmer. Trickles out the center now. Eric Wilbert couldn't kick it ahead. Jack Carnevale. On the drop, Kalpakis. 40-footer, easy glove save for Alex Wilbert. He'll get that whistle. Up next for Pine-Richland, how about 3 games before the break yet for them? At North Allegheny, coming up this upcoming Monday. 7 o'clock start there at the Barrel Ice Complex in Warrendale. Then 2 home games at the Barrel Ice Complex in Warrendale.
They got 4 straight at the Barrel Ice Complex.
Bethel Park and Seneca Valley, which also calls the Barrel Ice Complex home.
But they're true home games for them there, except for that North Allegheny game. So that's they've got an easy stretch here other than their trip to Mercyhurst in January.
And after the break, in fact, they'll start the unofficial second half with Upper St. Clair at home. So even though this one's probably going to go in the L category for just the second time this season, Pine-Richland's still in a good spot to make a run for a playoff berth. Oh, and Barrett slams Roth cleanly into the boards in front of the Pine-Richland bench. And now Roth wants to take his pound of flesh. He does get a check in on Barrett, but now Roth has to tag up, and he will oblige to keep his team on side. 4-1 game, 3-goal margin, so I think the refs have to watch out for some extracurricular activities. Picking up Debkowski. Tosses it forward, but he was behind the red line. He's kicking himself there, icing against the home team.
believe that Upper St. Clair, on the top of my head, I want to say that's a rematch of last year's AA Penguins Cup championship. So
I can find that out for you in a hurry here, thanks to PIHLhockey.com.
and it was a wild one, I believe.
You are correct, sir.
That was a wild game. I want to say that it was back and forth the entire time. And
7-5, Pine-Richland
that was
defeated
it. Yeah.
Upper St. Clair.
That was a very wild game, so that'll be nice to see both of them up here in AAA.
Chance for Fulmer and a blocker save on the backhand. Alex Wilbert. And Upper St. Clair came in here and handed the Indians a loss. That's a feather in their cap for sure. Upper St. Clair in contention to make the postseason as Mooney and the Rams were offside. Let's take a look at those Class AAA standings. Ken Mack with the win earlier tonight moves to 10 points, tied with Peters Township for right now, but PT's about to step up into the 12-point zone, tying them with Upper St. Clair and Seneca Valley for second place, behind North Allegheny.
Bethel Park moves up with their win, and Cathedral Prep is the odd team out. Mount Lebanon's going to be in there too, but with the 11th game and the 6th loss, it's going to be Cathedral Prep sitting in the 9 slot after this one.
Mill the handoff. Mertens read that like a book. The give on near side. Camp skating in, pulling it away from one man, but Tyndall recovered to get it back anyway. Mill slugs it out to the red line. Hewlin handed it over. Here's Salisbury. Already has a goal tonight. He tried for the top right corner, but he hoisted it over the crossbar.
We talk about that. We look at the parity in AAA right now. It's crazy. Anybody, this game, that game jumped Cannon McMillan from what was 8th until I believe 4th now.
Yes.
So it's insane how close teams are, and we're now coming into 3 months into the season.
Ken Mack jumped over Cathedral Prep, Mount Lebo, and Pine-Richland with that win earlier today. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's still early. We're about halfway through for everybody.
Every point's going to start mattering. It's all matter. Now.
Matters more and more high leverage games coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Get toward the holiday season. Drew Wilbert on the chase here. He wants to create a turnover. Hanna will pop it off of a stick. Into the slot it goes. The two Wilberts fight for it, but instead it's taken on by Rich Wild. Wild ahead to Desjardins. How about that poke check from behind, basically, by Seth Hanna. Hanna's had a strong game tonight in a couple of spots, forced to come up with defensive plays. I will say Pine-Richland has forced its share of turnovers tonight as this is hoisted out of play. On the far wing side by Aiden Bonvenuto. But the Rams have had some chances creating something, getting pucks deep and being tenacious. There's not a lot of high quality in the slot, though.
No, nothing.
And that's
today.
a credit to PT tonight. Defending the house very well. Down to 2 minutes to go in regulation time. There's Barrett shooting again. I half expected that one to go into the net as well. Every time he shot it from the point, it seems like tonight it has caromed home. Enos couldn't get that through the checking of Christian Biscardo. Barrett turns in a phone booth there behind the net. Biscardo still free in the PT zone. Fulmer's shot, and again a follow-through rides up into the chest of Gavin Dabkowski this time. First time it was Owen Barrett, I want to say. Bray centered, pumped it right back into the offensive zone. Indians were briefly offside, but now the Rams have a chance to break it down the ice. Sam Perry turning away from the pressure of Caden Slavin. Pokes it past him, but there's Hunter Ferguson. Layers of defense now for the Indians. 1:13 left in the third. Ferguson guns one right into the chest of Stauffer, and boy, looked like a pro there, didn't he? Just taking that one and taking all the energy off it. Not even a chance of a rebound as it settled into his jersey.
And he's only a junior. He got another year on Danny Stauffer.
He's impressed me tonight, I will say that. This newcomer to Class AAA, at least for the past couple of years, it's been a AA situation for Pine-Richland. They'll be 4-2-1 after tonight. It's still a pretty darn good 7-game start. Getting back to it at the highest level of the PIHL. Wilbert, the handoff. Ferguson, under a minute to play in this third period. PT, I don't want to say it's a victory lap here, but again, they survived a mid-game challenge. Last time out, it was Cannon Mack scoring first, but then PT scored 4 in a row to take it. Tonight it was 1-1 midway through the second. And now Peters Township, just like we saw last year, scored 3 in a row.
Stauffer is a senior. I thought he was a junior.
I had him as a senior in my book, and I was wondering if maybe I got it wrong, but that's okay.
I thought he was a sophomore last year. Okay.
Hey, either way, strong goalie. Mark Lehman, I don't know how he kept that one in the offensive zone, but he did, poaching from center ice. Lehman with 1 second to go, can't get one last offensive chance for the Indians, but Indians win. A second consecutive 4-1 victory here at home, and it appears the Tribe has turned things around. Now 3-1 in their past 4 since that 3-game losing streak. PT moves up into a second-place tie in Class AAA with 12 points on 6 wins against 4 losses. And Pine-Richland, as I said, drops to 4-2-1. It's their first loss since they fell to Butler on home ice back in late October. So it has been a while for the Rams. They were gaming this one for a good bit of it. In the end, they fall short, and they'll have to regroup as they get set for a good stretch of home games coming up in just a bit. As we mentioned, going into the holiday break, still 3 left for the Rams before the break, 2 left for the Indians.
Yeah, this was a physical contest, and as we expected, but I didn't expect it to be as physical as it ended up being. Peters Township's been playing a lot more finesse, and they just stepped up and just showed that they were not afraid of Pine-Richland here. I guess they got the scouting report. They knew that they were a very physical squad, and yeah. I don't know, I got to laugh right now. I'm watching Camp and Tyndall talking, and
little height differential.
There's
there.
A little bit of a height difference here between the two of them. If you're watching on live, it's yeah, you get all that, the physical nature, and I think that's what did Pine-Richland in here, is that they weren't able to match on the offensive the offensive output that Peters Township was presenting. Peters Township got to the locations where they weren't able to put the pressure on them like they were early, and just took advantage of it. That was probably the adjustments that Rick Tingle put into play between that first and second period, and it paid off in dividends.
4 hard-working goals for PT tonight. 3 deflections and 1 jam shot from John Camp. Got to give John Camp our first star, I would say. Tonight, Alex Wilbert gets the win. He's now 3-1 in his return to the crease after injury. And for Daniel Stauffer, he drops to 4-2-1. Well, Mitch, we've come to the end of our second consecutive Berg Hockey Live doubleheader. You've done all 4. I've done 2. So, yeah, it's about time to close it up shop and head home. And
I think that sounds like a
plan.
plan.
We'll regroup for more Berg Hockey Live next week.
We'll see what we can do next week. We're not decided where we're going to be, but we'll let you know by the end of this week. We're still working on some details right now, but should have it cleared up hopefully by Thursday. I'll let you guys know if Thursday or Friday.
Okay, well, thank you so much. You heard it there from the man himself. You can follow him on Twitter at PhDMitch. I'm Matt Geico. I want to say good night and also thank you to the students from Peters Township High School for running the camera today, and to our friends at PTCT7.
Where were they in the first game?
Well, hey, it's not their team.
I know.
Jeez. Mitch is chirping them all the way to the end
here.
I
chirp.
Just shy of 11 o'clock here on this Tuesday night. For Mitch, I'm Matt saying good night from Printscape Arena in South Point.